Welcome to the Profitable Fitness 5-Day Challenge. I do like my coffee, so I hope you don't mind me enjoying my coffee. The reason I've started this group, and I hope that you'll pick up on the video either now on the live. If you are live, just put #live in the comments below. Or if you catch it on the replay, put #replay, and I'll know how to engage with you depending on your availability. So the whole reason that I've started this group is there are many fitness trainers that are now locked out of the gym and having to find a way to earn from home. The government's a bit confused about whether it's going to help with furloughed salaries or not, how long it's going to last. So it is in place at the moment, so staff should be getting their furloughed salaries, but who knows? They could change this at any point. And the only thing I know from past experience is it's extremely dangerous to start relying on the government handing out money to you, because it's kind of like a bank. And you know what they say about banks and umbrellas? They hand them out like crazy when it's not raining. The minute it stops raining, they want all the umbrellas back. And you can expect the same thing to happen with the financial system and the way it's going to treat us all when things change soon. Now, it's not going to stay the same as it is. Things are going to change. We've had so much change this year. And I'm sure you have personally been affected by this, possibly in not such a positive way as well. However, through this pandemic start, I have seen a number of people I've been working with who have made 10,000, 40,000. I know one person who did a launch with over $1 million in less than a month. Now, I don't think that's possible for everybody, just to be honest with you. But what is achievable is to get started, to get on that first rung of the ladder so that you can get started and get your income growing online. Now, it doesn't matter whether you are already online as a business owner, or you're thinking about it, or you still are trying to investigate how to do it. The point is, when you do start, or if you have started and you're dealing with customer information, the first thing you need to do is to make sure you've got the right kind of systems and processes in place in your little business. There's a lot that's changed in terms of the privacy laws, both in the United Kingdom and the United States and elsewhere. Especially Europe is very, very tight on this with their GDPR laws. So if you have any customer data from your customers on your computer at home or at work, the business that's dealing with those customers needs to have a very simple insurance from the ICO office in the UK. So if you go online to the ICO Government Communication and Informations Office and get their annual insurance for data protection, it's only about £35. You will not regret having that peace of mind that you're covered in case someone complains they got a mistake from you. Maybe it was a mistake, you didn't record their permission, whatever, but at the time they make that complaint, it's going to test your systems out, whether you've prepared yourself for this new world we live in, where privacy is so important and systems are really, really important, no matter how small your business is. So let me help you with that straight away. You go online to ico.gov.uk and look for the GDPR insurance and take that out. It's only £35 a year. You will not be sorry for spending that money. Now, the main part of what I'm going to be talking with you today is about how to use SMS in your business. There are many systems online. There's Twilio, there's MessageBird, there's bulksms.com. The owner of that is a good friend of mine back in the early days. I ran the account that he used to subscribe to at the network to start his business. Now these businesses like that and Clickatel, they're doing billions in SMS every year. Point is, for your business, you need to be able to send your customers SMS. But how do you do it? It's too cumbersome to do it from your mobile phone. Maybe you can start like that, but after you've done like 10, it's going to be really painful. And the chance of you writing out a typo because of autocorrect errors is quite high. I do it all the time. So my family has to almost translate from the language that I'm typing, although I'm trying to type English. They're always laughing at the texts that I write because autocorrect just gets you. Just as you press send, it, I don't know, I didn't write that, but it seems to change it when you press send, isn't it? So you need to ask your customers for their mobile numbers. This is really, really important to get over whatever inhibitions or fears you have about asking people for their mobile numbers. Because I found just about everybody I've spoken to doesn't ask for mobile numbers, except for one guy that I spoke to, Chad Collins. You can look him up in the ClickFunnels group on Facebook and ask him directly. He has over 500,000 mobile numbers. Now, even if your business is a lot smaller than that, have a think about this, okay? If you send an email, you've got roughly 20% chance of someone opening your email and reading it. Less than 20% of those, if you send 100% email, 20% will open, and of those 20%, a smaller portion will actually take action. Now, you're only going to get sales if those that have taken action have gone all the way through your sales system and clicked your buy button and paid you with a card, because it's the payments in your bank that this is all about, isn't it? You need to get money from those customers into your bank to pay your bills at the month end. So how are you going to do that? Well, the thing with SMS is it's so much more powerful in getting people to recognize that you are sending them a message. So I don't know if this will display well on the screen, but I'm going to try and show you. So we were running some tests earlier today. And if my little Android phone can wake up here, hopefully you can see that. Where you can see up here, it says SMS Hero. Now, that is the sender identity of the SMS. It's a name. Now, the advantage in the UK is that you can set that to whatever you want it to be. You can relate that to your campaign name. So you can change it as often as you want. That's allowed in the UK, which is brilliant because this gives you the opportunity to brand your SMSs so that your customers know this is from you. Now, with some networks, we do have to pre-register those sender identities. And that's what my business does. It helps my clients pre-register their sender identities so they don't have any issues sending out messages. Because if you go to a provider for SMS and you send out your messages and you haven't pre-registered, there's no guarantee that your sender identity is going to stay in place all the way through the mobile network onto the mobile phone. At some point, some computer might decide a rule hasn't been complied with and take the sender identity out that you've set. But if you've pre-registered your sender identity with us, then that's guaranteed to stay in place and your campaign is secure. But the real benefit of that is that your customers are going to get to know you. Now, if I keep getting messages from this guy at SMS Hero, right, I'm going to relate that to the offer that he is getting to me via email that I'm reading on his Facebook page, I'm seeing on his LinkedIn page. That SMS is going to mentally link instantly with those offers. Now, depending on where you are sitting as a customer at the moment, when you get that message, it could be just the one thing that tips you over from being a looker to a buyer. Because what your business needs is buyers. You need lookers to an extent, but what you need to survive on is buyers. And there's a brilliant thing about having someone pay you in business is once they have paid you, they will always be your customer. Unless you do something monumentally stupid to offend them, they will always be happy to come back and buy from you, provided you deliver and give them value. So hopefully you're getting value today and you are going to go and look up that insurance on the ICO office. I really, really recommend that you do that. It's very important if you run a small business in the UK, go and get that insurance. It's only £35 a year. It's nothing I get for telling you that. It's just, I know you need the help because business has become dangerous out there today. lots of businesses are going under. And the thing is, they would not have gone under if they had known what to do to protect themselves. So years ago, I lost a business, and it was because I didn't know which decision to make was the one that was going to help me out. I'll give you an example in it. So I had 4 credit cards at the time. And my thinking back then was, don't use the credit cards for the business. It's a really bad idea. However, in retrospect, I would have still had that business today doing a few million a year if I had used the credit cards to pay a few small debts and then paid it off monthly from the business. Instead, I ended up closing the business and losing it, which was stupid, all because I didn't want to use a little bit of credit for a little bit of time and then pay it back. So knowing what decision to make when your back is up against the wall is critical. And your backs are right up against the wall right now. 2020 is hammering us all. Who knows what's going to come at us next? A new virus, a new kind of shutdown, new kind of lockdown, who knows? But the thing is, we've all got bills to pay at the end of the month, and the government's got its tax to collect from us, and it's not going to wait. It's not going to wait for its tax. You are going to be called on to pay your taxes and pay your loans back, despite you having been locked out of your office for 9 months this year. How are you going to cope? SMS can help your business get out of trouble. So if you can get mobile numbers from your customers, you've got a really strong chance of at least doubling your sales. Because just taking over those numbers again. Email gives you a 20% chance that someone's going to read your message. SMS gives you a 98% chance. Now that's nearly 5 times greater chance of someone reading your message. So if one person reads your message, does nothing. 2 people read your message, does nothing. If 10 people read your message and only 1 person takes action and buys your product, that means if you used SMS to push them to the checkout page, you'd have 2 sales instead of 1 sale. It's that simple. All you need to do is ask your customers for their mobile numbers. So the first rule of having your customers' mobile numbers, of course, is that you're not allowed to spam them. We've already spoken a bit about the GDPR issues and the insurance that you can get in the UK. But thinking that you can spam people, I was just talking to customers recently from Asia, and they were, oh, can we send spam? No, you cannot send spam. And it's not because they were from the Indonesian region why they were asking it. I get questions like this from the UK and from Europe and the US all the time. Can we send spam? No, you cannot, because I'll go to jail and so will my supplier. So we do not allow spam. And this is why having your own sender identity is so important, because once you are broadcasting your SMSs with your own sender identity, you're able to build a following. Now, you know the difference between traditional advertising and internet marketing? Perhaps you do. So you can liken it to TV advertising, where you pay hundreds of thousands for a 30-second slot. You have no idea who's watching it, but you can be pretty sure that people who need what you're selling are going to be watching it. Maybe a couple of hundred of them or a few thousand of them will watch it. Maybe a small segment of those will actually take action and buy it. But you've paid to send the advert to all those people who didn't buy it from you. And that, in a way, is a waste of money. What we're going to cover as part of the 5-day challenge is how to build a following. So how to get your content out there, how to get known as the expert in your industry. So everybody knows me at the moment as the guy for SMS. Call me SMS Hero. That name actually came from one of the leading marketers in the US when I was on her mastermind course, on Rachel's course. And she said, oh, you should be calling this SMS Hero. And that's where the name SMS Hero came from. Because I help people get their businesses out of trouble by using SMS and getting more sales in the pipeline. And it's a really simple, easy process. It's not something you have to be afraid of doing. All you have to do is ask your customers for their mobile number. So what's the difference between broadcasting SMS and building a following? Well, broadcasting it is just like, TV adverts, radio adverts, or printing something in the newspaper. Not that anybody really reads newspapers anymore. I remember having to get the paper for 25 cents every day and take it home and give my dad so he could read the day's news. Well, when the internet came out, that kind of stopped, didn't it? No one's buying them. You get the paper for free at the train station now. So how do you build a following? Well, this is the real difference in these two types of marketing. Well, although the old broadcast method is still hanging on by its fingernails, as it were, the new method of marketing by building a following is really where it's all at today. And this you can do on LinkedIn, on Facebook, and so on. And how do you do this? Well, have you ever heard of a guy called Gary Halbert? I'm on his Facebook group with his son Bond and Kevin. They're two of the best marketers in the world. They are legends in their business. And their stuff is worth reading. So go and look them up as well, Gary Halbert. Go and look at that on Facebook and connect with them. So Gary wrote about a good marketing analogy. He said, if someone had a hamburger stand, and it's funny enough because I did have one when I was a youngster. I used to run a few of them. So if you have a hamburger stand, how do you sell a lot of hamburgers and make a lot of money? So if you ask people, 10 people, most of them will say, well, you got to make a really good hamburger. No, it's all about the lettuce. You got to have really crispy bacon and lettuce in the hamburger. It's about the beef. You don't want a woody beef, thing that tastes like wood. You want it to be juicy. And no, it's about the bun. It's all about the burger bun. You've got to have this recipe for the burger bun. That's all nonsense. You could sell a burger that tastes like cardboard. If you just go to McDonald's and have a look at what they're selling, they sell substandard food, but volume of it. Now, how do they achieve such sales? Because they're selling burgers to hungry people. This is the thing. You need to find where your hungry people are. So the story behind Gary Halbert's hamburger stand was, how do you sell a lot of hamburgers if you have a hamburger stand? You need to know where your hungry people are. You're going to sell it at lunchtime. You're going to sell it after work. You may not sell many in the morning, but you need to know where the people are. Now, just out of school, I actually ran a burger stand, and we were moving about 1 ton of meat a month. I was only 18. Imagine that, 18-year-old guy going to Game or Macro and buying a ton of meat. The people wanted to know, what is this kid up to? Well, I'd seen a report in the newspaper about this chap in university who was paying his university by selling hamburgers. So I thought, hey, I can do that too. So I took a trailer, my dad's garden trailer, and I put a gas cooker in it and some water tanks and some hot water to wash your hands and a caravan fridge, gas fridge. And we were selling soda pops and cool drinks and hamburgers. On a day, I'd sell about 2,000 sausages in an hour on that hamburger stand. We did a kind of beef sausage. It really went well in the area where it was selling. But if I was standing where there were no people, I would have had a grid full of burgers and no sales. So the trick was to find where the people were. So we used to go to art festivals, and where there was like a paddling event at a lake, like a sports event for paddle skiing around the lake. We'd go there. We'd go to running events. We'd go to where people have worked up a hunger. We didn't want to go just where there were lots of people. We wanted to know that the people were really hungry. So cycling events and so on like that. We'd take our little burger stand there, and we would sell on average 2,000 of those burgers in an hour. And we ran that for a solid 6 hours on a Saturday. Can you imagine? We smelled so bad when we got home. My wife actually made me sell it as a business and do something else. But that's where you need to be at with your business. You need to know where your hungry people are so that they buy your hamburgers and not your competitors' hamburgers. Now, the other thing that comes in with this is you need to know how to tap into what's making your people hungry. What is your market? What are your audience talking and thinking about? Now, part of what we're going to go through this week is called the 5 stages of awareness in marketing, because you're either not really aware about a product, or you've seen it all the time and you have a pain that you're going to need to solve it with. So I found someone recently, James Bacon on LinkedIn, a friend of mine, became friends with him because I had a pain. When I left school, I was into weightlifting. I said earlier, told you a little bit about that. I'd got to 400 pounds on the bar. It was the end of a long workout. I was feeling pretty knackered. I was a bit shaky. I thought, well, come on, let's push it. Let's put another 5 pounds on. So I did. And I didn't have the right position. It was just a little bit uncomfortable on the lift. And something popped in my back. Ever since then, I've had a really painful twinge in my piriformis, which is, and if you sit, as a person who knows anything about fitness, if you sit all day at work, which I have for the last 30 years in desk jobs at the office, it starts to get really painful, so bad that it's difficult to walk. I came across James Bacon, who was talking about this pain in your lower back, particularly in that region of the back where I had a pain. And what I was thinking matched exactly what he was saying. And this is how building a loyal following online works. You've got to get what you're saying to match what your customers are thinking. And it's really important to do that when you're using SMS, because each message that's going out is costing you money. They're not sent for free. So you need to make sure that what you are saying is tapping right into that conversation that customer of yours is having in their head at that time when your SMS comes across their stream or their timeline, their feed, or whatever, however you're going to send it. That message is going to land on their phone. They're going to want to clear it off so they see, oh, they've got no unread messages, if they're that type of person. So this is what you want. You want them to open the message and use what you've given in the message to go to your offer. Now, later in the week, we're going to take you through the do's and don'ts of what to put in the message and what not to put in the message. So I hope today's been useful to you. There are some 2.5 billion people on Facebook, some 700 million on LinkedIn, and this is where you are going to find your hungry people. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that tomorrow on Tuesday at 2 o'clock, live here on Facebook and on LinkedIn. So thank you for watching. And if you have any questions, just pop them in the comments below. Just send me a direct message, or prefer you to put a comment in the group below. Then we can get a discussion going around it and see where I can help you. Tomorrow is Ask Me Anything time. So you may have some questions about marketing and messaging and how to use it in your business. You can ask me anything about it, and I'll do what I can to help you. If you need to know of a system to use, I might know of something online that could be a quick route for you to solve a problem for getting your marketing out to the right type of customers. So thank you for watching today, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.